Hello everybody and welcome to Against the Fence. This is the place to be if you're obsessed and passionate about the UFC, of course, and I am back with a tough review and it is episode 6. We are back and we're back to the women's flyweight division. So let's dive straight into it then, everyone. Hope you're all well. If you're unaware, obviously the spoilers are I'm going to be taking you through the fight that happened again. So if you haven't watched the episode, turn off. So let's get straight into it. So this is the fight that we have here. We have Juliana Miller of Team Peña facing against Claire Guthrie of Team Nunes. So a story about these two. These two have already fought in a previous organization. So again, who's going to win this one? This one's obviously in tough. Juliana Miller, who's 2 wins, 1 loss. As I said, she is of Team Peña, and Claire Guthrie of Team Nunes, who is 3-1, and obviously Claire picking up the win against Juliana Miller the first time round in a different organisation. So who's going to win this one? Well, we're going to find out. But the show started off with basically the show hyping up this fight. So it started off with them showing little replays of the first fight and how it planned out. To be fair, it was a very close fight, to be honest. And what have I said from day one? What have I said from day one about Juliana Peña, the coach, Juliana Peña? What have I said? I've said she's a very, very good coach, very vocal coach. She does dive into tactics really well, dives in on details of what she wants her fighter to do. And again, after they showed little clips of obviously the fights and things like that, we got into like proper deep into the show. Peña is taking a look at the fight with her team, okay? And she's taking a look at where her fighter in Miller needs to adjust. So she's looking at where Miller needs to adjust and where she went wrong in the fight. Again, it was a close fight. But again, these little small margins, they count if you want to be in the UFC. So she was like sharpening them tools, obviously, once they get that all-important training session in. I've said from day one, and Jordan and Sai probably getting fed up with me saying it now, Peña is a very good coach, man. I tell you, she dives in on again. I'm repeating myself so many times, but she dives in on the proper details down to a T. And you see nothing of this of Nunes, nothing. And obviously, I've said in the corners as well, whilst their fighters are fighting, Nunes very vocal. Peña a very vocal coach. Anyway, obviously after we got into them hyping up the fight and things like that. As they always do, they get into the fighter backgrounds. They started off with Juliana, and she fights out of 10th Planet of San Diego camp. And what got her into fighting is she did have a bit of a brutal upbringing and things like that. She got bullied in school, again bullied in college and things like that. And she just wanted to defend herself, and that's what sort of she got into a self-defense class, which sort of got her motivated to bring her game to mixed martial arts. So again, it's kind of interesting story behind it, really. And then it just showed little backgrounds of her training and things like that. And then we move on to our opponent of Claire Guthrie, and she fights out of Denver, Colorado, with Elevation Fight Team. So again, they just dive in a little background of her and her team like that. Right. Usually things go to plan, don't they? So they showed a little backgrounds of the fighters, which I've just mentioned, and then we get into weigh-in day. So as you all know, if you've recently watched my reviews, we recently had someone leave the show due to missing weight. Here we go again. Here we go again. So they go to weigh in, and Claire is half a pound over. Okay, so they go to weigh in. Miller's on point on weight, and Claire is overweight. So they give her an hour to lose half a pound. Again, half a pound doesn't seem like much, but if you've been cutting weight all week, you might not have any sweat left to cut. And that as I said, it's really hard to cut weight once you can't sweat anymore. So it was really down to a T and really dialed in that she needed to lose this half a pound. So she got in the sauna. Again, she was in there for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Really was struggling. Again, I don't blame her. Struggling in that sauna there. Goes to way back in. She's got roughly about 15 minutes left, I think they said. and she's just slightly over. So what does she do? Cuts her hair off. So you need to shred that, get the weight off. So she goes and cuts her hair off, which is fair play. That's one way to lose the weight, isn't it? Not that it's losing weight, it's just getting the pounds off your head. But again, once they cut her hair off, she makes weight. So crazy situation there. Anyway, she made weight in the end, and then that's the main thing. Again, it's crazy. Cutting your own hair as well, just because you can't. Not that you can't make weight. It's half a pound. I know it's not much, but you just got to be on point with the weight cut, really. Again, you're in the show. You've got to be ready. Like I don't get, like, we had this last time out. Like, give me some pointers on this. Like, I don't get. You're in like the tough house. You're gonna fight. I know it doesn't matter when you're gonna fight, or you don't know when you're gonna fight. But surely you're like in training, and during things like this. During things like this, you're going to be cutting weight. Like, I don't understand it. Anyway, let's get on to the fight. So, let's get into the fight. As you see there, round number 1, the story of the fight was Claire's jab. Claire's jab was on point. She was on fire with this jab. Her boxing was on point. For me, Claire took this first round by storm. Miller tried to get in close and get in the clinch. That was her game. Tried to get in close with her jab as well. Just couldn't get through Claire's jab, though. She was on point with it, on fire. Let me tell you, the first round was just Claire's by storm. Honestly, she took that round 1 by storm. But round number 2, as I said, Miller trying to get the clinch. She gets the clinch, a little bit of dirty boxing, a little bit of knees, and she managed to get the takedown. I know the top image is quite small, but just after Juliana there is Juliana Peña, the coach, I mean, standing up. I just missed the screenshot of her celebrating this like she won the World Cup or something. I tell you, like, she's very vocal in the corner. I tell you, very, very vocal in the corner, as I've mentioned plenty of times. And it's like she won the World Cup or something, screaming. Again, always motivating her fighter to do well. And then, as you see in them pictures there, that Miller gets that second round back. All right, she gets that second round back. Then we move on to the third sudden victory round. As I said, Claire taking the first and Miller taking the second. We move on to the third sudden victory round. As you see there again, let me tell you, Miller's a dog, man. She just fights for, like, she was trying to get through that jab of round 1, couldn't get going, but then round 2, she got going. And once she got into her rhythm, she was unreal. Proper dog, man, let me tell you. Fights through anything. As you see there, at the start of the first round, she ran to the middle of the octagon, landed decent boxing. But Claire managed to get a takedown. But as soon as Miller was off her back, she went for that Kimura, look, as you can see there. She went for that Kimura, and he was deep. And they managed to roll around a couple of times. And as you see there in the bottom corner, Dana White is there. Reason being, that Kimura was in tight. And fair play to Claire, because she was rolling with the Kimura. Each time it got tighter, she rolled with it. But you got to give it to her for that. Great defense there, submission defense. But then after that, Miller turned it into an armbar, and she started hammer fisting Claire's face. And you can see where this is going. But let me tell you, Miller is an absolute dog, man. She fought through everything. Such a gritty fighter. For me, this was the best fight on the show so far, because it was just back and forth. Like, the first round was back and forth. The second round, obviously, Miller getting that takedown. But again, it was a close round, but with the takedown again. On like things like this, takedowns are key. Takedowns and a decent amount of control time as well. But as I said, let's get rid of them pictures for you. But yeah, as I said, Claire picking up getting the win there, as you see. Again, Miller picking up the win. Sorry. There we go. Sorry, get rid of them for you. There we go. Yeah, so as I mentioned, winning the unanimous decision win, winning his rounds 2 and 3. You have Miller picking up the unanimous decision win, and that moves Peña onto 4 and 2 now. Crazy. I've said it from day one. Everyone that's been tuning in knows that I think Peña's got the stronger team. I can't fault her tactics going into the fight. She wants her fight to fight her fight. Yeah, absolute dog. Juliana Miller is a dog, man. And again, kind of one to watch as well, but not my favourite. But yeah, she's another one to watch as well. But that moves, as I said, that moves Peña onto 4-2 and in control of the picks. And also, as she was in control of the last heavyweight fight, she picks the next heavyweight fight, which I will get rid of that for you. And she picks the last heavyweight fight, which is between Chandler Cole of Team Nunes and Jordan Hyman of Team Peña. Again, this Jordan Hyman of Team Peña is undefeated. So, he's the only fighter in the show that is undefeated. What are we going to see from him? He's the tall guy on the left, and Cole is the tall guy on the right. But obviously, you may be seeing it the other way to me. But yeah, I'm interested to see this fight as well, because Cole looks like a bit of a brawler to me. And the taller fighter in Hyman looks like more of a technical fighter. I've not seen much of him in training. Again, it's an interesting one. Who could potentially pick up this one? I've said, again, I'm going to go through the questions that I always ask myself when I'm doing a review. Who's got the stronger team? Again, it's Peña. Peña's going to be in control. I reckon she's going to win the show. It's interesting. It's a really, really... my favourite, who I want to win for Team Peña as well is Usman. And Laura Gorado is the... Thank you for that last week, Mr. Brown. And Jordan, sorry. That's the one, that's the flyweight that I think would win for the flyweights. Again, if you have any thoughts of who is your favourite fighters on the show, or how you think it's going to go and things like that, do get in the comments. Usually they have little insights and things like that to the show, but this one didn't really start with any like insiders. It just purely started with a breakdown of obviously the previous fight. But yeah, I know they're 1-1, but obviously the most important thing is that Miller got the win and moves on. I can't wait to see the semi-final fights in the flyweight division. They're going to be so technical, and to be fair, they're going to be great fights, to be honest. Again, with the heavyweights as well, it just comes down to it, man. It just all depends. Because to be fair to these heavyweights, a lot of them have great wrestling. A lot of them have really good wrestling. And you don't see that in a lot of heavyweight nowadays. But again, the sport of MMA is evolving. So for these heavyweights to come in that have great takedown defense and great takedowns themselves, is money. And again, wrestling is a key factor, as I've said before in a couple of watch-alongs. It's becoming a very important factor in MMA, like the calf kick. Obviously, I'm not saying the calf kick's going out there, but do you remember like the days where the calf kick was just every single fight was using a calf kick? Not that they don't now, but like there was a time where everyone was using it and stopping fights. And it's like wrestling. Wrestling is just so key nowadays. Yeah, that's the last fight that we have there. So, go back to the main screen for you guys. Again, if you have any questions about any of the any pointers that I brought up there, again, I think Peña is going to win the show. Again, I don't think she'll win the fight between the two coaches of obviously Peña and Nunes. I don't think she will win the fight. But again, if you have any questions or something before I ramble on, do pop them in the comments. But before I wrap it up, do stay tuned. We will be airing our People's Pick show on Thursday evening. So again, last minute ones. You've got a little bit of time left to pop your videos in. Again, the email is in the description. Search WeTransfer in Google. Send your video of you picking your most confident picks for UFC 275. I know it's hard. Do get them in. It doesn't have to be long. Don't have to go into too much detail. Just a quick little video of yourself picking who you think is going to win the fight. And then send it in to us in the email in the description below. Again, I've been your boy Ash. Stay sexy, guys. Come on, and I'll stay tuned for Thursday. Yeah.